I have seen it said that if purchasing something doesn't mean you own it, then pirating doesn't mean you stole it.
Wow. I kind of like that.
You are listening to The Soapbox. I'm Paul.
And I'm Eric.
This all started out with a list. What's that all about?
So I've compiled a list over the years of things that just bother, things that grind my gears. And I shared that list with you.
And I thought, you know what? That would make interesting conversation. Sometimes I'm going to want to agree with you, and it's just going to be something we talk about. Other times, though, I'm going to want to steel man the opposite position because I think that's just interesting conversation.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I'm always right, but Paul's just a really good debater.
Hey.
We did a pretty unique episode 2 weeks ago, maybe. It hasn't aired yet, but it's brought in some friends and did a different setup. But we had a need for a specific piece of hardware. What was that?
It was a video capture device.
Video capture device. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, I've heard of like a capture card to like capture over-the-air TV or cable TV to capture it into a computer, which is the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. So, but video capture card converting basically HDMI to USB was just a pretty foreign concept to me.
Okay. And
the very next day, after we needed 2 video capture cards to pull off what we were trying to pull off, we did it anyway, found a way. I needed a video capture card, and I actually bought one that day.
What did you need this for?
So what I wanted to do, we were going on a trip to Belize, and I wanted to bring the Raspberry Pi, which has all these vintage video games on, and I was thinking we're going to bump into like a rainy day or the kids are going to be tired, and how fun would it be to Raspberry Pi, bring some controllers? I mean, it fits in a shoebox, basically,
sure.
My setup. But Katie was telling me there are no TVs down there in the resort.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, wait a second.
Because they expect you're going to just be on the beach all day, right?
Yeah. And in this resort in particular, the rooms were, I mean, they were great.
And you were in Belize, so like if you had a TV, it'd be like, we're going to watch Pedro el Escamoso on Telemundo.
Exactly.
That is a deep cut, by the way. Please Google that. Pedro el Escamoso. He was this guy with the mullet. He was a very homely looking man, always surrounded by beautiful women. Just giving all the men hope.
Okay. Yeah.
My brother and I would watch it. We didn't know what was going on, but we're like, yeah, Pedro, get it, man.
You got it. Well, he wasn't there.
It's a shame. He's a cool guy.
But really, neither were TVs. At least in my planning, I was like, I don't have a TV. So then I thought, well, I mean, I could throw a little monitor in my checked baggage. I was like, man, that's kind of fragile and
now you're making this really difficult.
Making it difficult. But then I thought, wait a second. I'm bringing my laptop. A laptop has a screen. I was like, how could I get the Raspberry Pi on the laptop? A quick Google search, and what pops up as the solution?
Video capture card.
Video capture card.
Was there any kind of delay? Did it introduce delay in the conversion?
No. Actually, if you set the settings right, which at one point I didn't, and there was serious lag. But if you get it right, it's pretty lag-free. I think a lot of it has to do with the resolution. Okay. If you set the resolution to basically match the output, it's pretty lag-free. So, all right, for nerds out there that really care, you can take a device that outputs HDMI, like a Raspberry Pi or a DVD player or a...
And then probably downscale it to like 480p for the Nintendo resolution.
Right, and I think the Pi is already doing that kind of stuff anyway. So the Pi is outputting the video stream, 720p or 480p or whatever, and you plug that into this capture card. It looks like a wallet, and then on the other side it's USB, and you plug that USB into your laptop, and then you pull up a program called OBS, which I haven't had a need to use this program.
Which let's look a little bit behind the scenes for a moment. Yeah. I'm going to grab my camera here,
right?
And to save ourselves in editing, we now. Oh, this is cable man.
This is going really well here. We're going to tip over the energy drink. It's going to spill on the laptop. It's going to fry the.
Turn off the light here.
Look at that.
There we go.
All right.
So everything is happening
now.
When
is this in the movie? This is now. When will
it air?
Sorry, Spaceballs 2 is coming out soon. I'm excited. Anyway, all right, to basically finish this, to segue into our actual conversation today, I basically took the capture card, converted it to USB, and then you could use a program called VLC, which I had installed, but I couldn't get that one to work without the lag.
Pylon, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the pylon. Or OBS. So I downloaded OBS, and I was actually, I did all this down in Belize.
On their like 56K dial-up connection.
They have Starlink, by the way. They had Starlink, so
okay.
it wasn't great. It was on and off, you know. It was pretty cloudy, though, too. I wonder if that had to do with it. But then, eventually got it downloaded, installed, and sure enough, 2 controllers. I had sound was working great, we were playing Raspberry Pi on the laptop screen. And come to find out, I probably could have just installed an emulator on the laptop and skipped this whole process, but I didn't know that, or I wasn't prepared for that.
Oh.
Yeah. But the bigger point to all this...
The redundant department of redundancy department.
And what was even greater is we actually at one point took an output of the laptop and sent it to the one TV that was down in the bar.
So you're going now from the Raspberry Pi to the laptop to the bar. So when you press A on the controller to make Mario jump,
there was
2.5 minutes later...
There was no lag. Lag was... The only thing was I couldn't plug the Raspberry Pi into the TV for some reason. I think it like skipped the audio or something like that. So It was weird. It ended up working. The kids played for like...
So the moral of the story is get a Nintendo Switch.
Just get a Nintendo Switch, please. And to segue into our actual conversation, on that Raspberry Pi, it had a 32 gigabyte SD card. And on that SD card was Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Atari, you name it.
All games you already own physical copies of,
right?
So it's completely legal.
Completely
Don't come
legal.
At us, Nintendo of America.
Absolutely have them. But as a luxury, not having to pull the cartridge off of my extensive shelf alphabetically. Well, you can actually sort it differently by pushing different buttons on the shelf.
Your shelf, yes.
And it'll,
Yes, on the shelf.
You can sort it by recently played or alphabetically or by console. You could,
you've got a nice shelf.
It was nice. But then you blow in the cartridge, right?
Digitally.
You pop it in, you play or you can just pull it up in a digital library because it's convenient.
Yes.
And I like that.
Well, okay. So I'm going to take counterpoint here.
I teed it up.
You did. You set that one up very, very nicely, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But for those of you who don't know, we've touched on this before in a previous episode, but now our views are measured in the thousands, not in the dozens. So
right.
So we're going to hit it again, and we're going to hit it slightly differently because I think it is a timely topic again. PlayStation just announced January 2028. They're no longer going to be producing physical discs. So if you're a PlayStation gamer, you can go to a store, you can buy a packaged game. That game will have a code. That's it. You may as well just download it digitally because you own nothing.
Even when you open it up, doesn't it have a little spot for like a disc?
I don't know if they're going to do that. Clearly, this is just the you need a Christmas gift.
Yeah, something to wrap.
Or something to wrap.
Yeah.
Because a digital game or like a gift card is pretty lame.
It is. Yeah, I mean, when you print off a little, here's your code for your.
Here's a picture of your gift. It didn't ship in time.
Right. Yeah.
That's the worst, man. Just go to the store.
So PlayStation is PlayStation 5 famously is getting on board with this.
But other companies have kind of already done this too. Mm-hmm. Nintendo, I bought the Nintendo Switch too, and I got the
2 as well, or 2.
I bought the second edition.
Yeah, okay.
The second Nintendo Switch.
But you have the first one too.
They really rabbit trail time. They really buggered up here on the naming convention because we have the Nintendo Switch, which is this beautiful handheld platform that you can dock and play on your television. It's cool. Mm-hmm. why didn't they call the next one the Super Nintendo Switch?
Yes.
Stick with the classic naming convention.
Yeah.
Come out with a special edition retro release that's in the gray with the maroon buttons. I would have paid extra for that experience.
There is a Nintendo console looking plastic case for Raspberry Pis.
I've seen that.
You can,
I've seen it. I like it.
Yeah,
I think D Brand makes skins.
Yeah.
But I don't want to shout them out because they sponsor Linus Tech Tips. They don't sponsor us.
Oh,
so Google it yourself.
Yet.
But D Brand, if you guys want to get on board, we fit your brand. We've got a good audience. We love the engagement metrics. Blah 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 blah.
And Paul's a D bag, so it works out nicely.
I'm not even going to argue. It's true.
Okay, so we have an Xbox.
Well, the rabbit trail.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Nintendo Switch has cartridges.
Yeah.
But the cartridges just have a little key on them, and they're functionally just the same thing. It's just a code on a cartridge. When you pop that thing in, it emulates a virtual cartridge on a physical cartridge. And so, like your really janky setup, you've got a thing pretending to be a thing that's not a thing.
It's a dream within a dream. Yeah.
I was going for Tropic Thunder.
Okay.
I'm just a man or just a dude playing another dude. But yeah, it's a blank.
What do you mean we? What do you mean you people?
Well, no, that wasn't him. That was actually the other actor. What do you mean you people?
What do you mean? What do you mean you?
This people? Is what. Okay, put a pin on that one because this is another reason we need physical copies.
Oh, yeah,
that's going to get canceled soon, I'm sure. But yeah, so you don't own it because what ends up happening functionally is if you pop this thing into your Nintendo Switch, it downloads the game from Nintendo servers. Why might that be problematic, you might ask? And a lot of people would say, oh, well, you don't have a floppy disk on there either. Here's the deal. Nintendo can decide when they want to quit hosting that file on their servers. And the moment they do, tucked in the terms and conditions, which you accepted the moment you purchased that thing, you no longer have a right to that particular thing.
Yeah.
And I've experienced this with a favorite game of mine. One of my all-time favorite games from the early 2000s. It came out in 2004. Was Battlefield Vietnam. Are you familiar with the Battlefield franchise?
Yeah. They did a Star Wars Battlefront was in the same.
It was a similar genre. I don't think it was made by EA, was it?
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
But it was definitely done in this because Battlefield 1942 was one, and then there was
1943.
Wasn't there
Battlefield 1, 2, 3, and 4? Yeah, they did it. They did a bunch.
Yeah, wasn't there a futuristic one too?
2042, which if you bought it, it actually came with a dog tag.
It did.
That was a USB drive that had like 32 megabytes.
Oh, wow.
Still have it somewhere.
Okay.
So I was a fan. I was a fan of the franchise. Battlefield Vietnam was particularly awesome because it was very well balanced. It was one of the first games in the series to feature like airplanes and helicopters. And my typical tack in that game was to get a sniper rifle loadout, immediately run for the helicopter, fly over the enemy base because the helicopter would keep going. Then I would parachute out, but I wouldn't deploy the parachute until I wasn't visible anymore. And then I could get perfect sniper position and snipe them at their spawn point and cause lots of strangers to curse on the internet.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And it had a great soundtrack. It was all like Vietnam era music, which I think was a phenomenal time for rock and roll. And then in 2014, EA decided this game is no longer profitable. And after just 10 years, they shut the servers down. And if you own the game, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can't install it, can't play it.
But I mean, you need were there computer players too, or it had to be
multiplayer.
I mean that's a problem if people stop playing it. I don't care who you are. They can leave the servers up, but I mean,
I'll give you a more recent example here, but I need to get the title here. Nintendo removes cruising game. So, Nintendo Switch delisted. Are you familiar with like Cruisin' USA from back in the day? It was like an arcade game. It was a race game.
Okay.
It had like, at the time, we thought it was cool graphics because real looking people.
Right.
Probably just like animated photographs in the same vein as maybe Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, okay.
But Cruisin' USA was really popular in the
yeah.
arcade circuits. It
Yeah.
had, this ridiculous song. If you went to Fayette Mall and you played Cruisin' USA, it was a moment.
Yeah. Okay,
It was a
I'm
moment in
remembering this.
history. And they had another title on the Switch store called Cruisin' Blast. And Nintendo owns the whole Cruisin' franchise. So this isn't a third-party company.
Right.
This is Nintendo's IP.
Yeah.
And just suddenly, without warning, they pulled it from the store. So if you had it and you downloaded it, cool. If you had it but you didn't have it locally, couldn't get it again. And if you still want to play it, if you have the physical copy, if you can track a physical copy down, it still works. So this is not like the online-only experience. It's not server-based. It's just, here's an IP that for unknown reason, and people speculate it might be that there are cars in the game they've lost the license to be able to portray. But Adobe did something similar. Adobe had a DVD authoring software where they lost the rights to use the Dolby Surround sound plugin. And even if you own the software, they hit you with the notice, like, you can't use this anymore because we didn't pay the licensing fee.
Yeah. That's kind of a dumb way to... okay, so some of the nuances here then that I think about are if you have digital content, you don't have to go swap out cartridges. Nintendo seems to pick the worst of both worlds there.
With
if you've got a cartridge and it's downloaded,
digital key, I think. Is what they call
that's ridiculous. So we have an Xbox, and we talked a little bit about our arc through console games was kind of during COVID, and we got the Xbox with the Xbox One. We got the one that had the disc option.
Okay.
But I don't think we ever bought a physical game. The exception is, and here's an interesting here's a con for digital content. A friend of ours had a game that we wanted to try out, and he could lend it to us, and we could check it out.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with digital, right?
So there's no function to loan a game?
Not as far as I know. And maybe there's some check-in and check-out system that I'm not aware of. But changing out discs, I know it sounds like trivial, but man, to me that's a game changer. I did not mean to do that.
Hold on.
But really, not having to get a disc out and find it, and kids are scratching it and doing whatever. Oh man, the library, just download. I love it. That's how games should be played.
Well, yes, no. Yes, in the sense that it's convenient in the moment, but I would also say Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
You enjoyed the game.
Oh, for sure.
You hit it like to 100% completion.
I don't know. Maybe we got close.
I've played it enough that it's tedious now. It feels like work. It doesn't feel like play. So I don't want to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Rather than it crowding up my digital library, being one more alphabetical item I have to sort through, or one more digital game card that I have to swipe past, I have the option to sell it right now.
Sell it. Oh, really?
And so for $26, somebody else can own this on Amazon. I can sell this copy that I purchased for $40, and I can recoup $26.
Well, hey.
It's no longer in my way. It's produced value again for me that I can put into other games.
That's interesting.
So with this game card now, because I own it, I have the option to transfer ownership to somebody else. And so I would say with the digital library, if you're looking at the concept of ownership as being permanent, I would still use air quotes on permanence, because there's been multiple stories. Sony, again, a big offender. They have removed movies that people purchased from their digital library because they lost the license to be able to offer them. You don't truly own it when it's digital.
Yeah.
And you also have the ability to recoup some of your costs if you want to turn around and sell it and get rid of it. So maybe you want to purge a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if I juxtapose that to my GOG library, I've got dozens and dozens of games I've received for free through the Amazon Play or the Amazon Gaming redemptions. For those of you who don't know, if you're an Amazon subscriber, if you do a Google search for Amazon Gaming, it'll take you to two different properties. One is Amazon Luna, which is their online, like Fire TV kind of casual gaming experience where you can game on your TV. But the
game with a remote control.
Game with a remote control.
Yeah.
It's not fantastic. It's like mobile games on your TV.
Yeah.
So that's for your mom and dad. That's not for the kids. But then they've also got a tie-in with a lot of these companies that produce games, and in a given month, they have so many titles that they will subsidize and then give you for free as part of your subscription.
Yeah.
Some of them AAA titles, like pretty good games.
Yeah, I've been checking it out. I got a reminder monthly to check it out and download stuff.
Which is awesome, except I realize of all these games I've received for free, I've played very few of them. Mm-hmm. And I've got this enormous library, and if I do want to go and search, I've got a lot of choice. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you kind of get that decision paralysis because you've got too much to choose from.
Yeah. Well, that's why you can favorite things, and again, good ways of sorting. Recently played. That is a big issue with the Raspberry Pi, and I kick myself for not sitting down one day and actually going through all the titles and picking the ones that I'm, first of all, even just aware of. Right. I like the idea of having the entire collection. That way, I bring it to a conference or something like that, and I'm like, hey, pick a game that you can think of. Chrono Trigger.
You want the obscure title that's only released in Japan.
Here you go.
Mother for Nintendo.
Right.
The precursor to Earthbound for the 3 people that even know what that is.
But you're right. It is a little overwhelming to have it all. But I go through and I favorite games and put them in the separate list and then go through it that way. So I like having all of the games in one place. In fact, I wish Origin and EA and all of these different platforms, they're almost like streaming Steam, right? They're like streaming platforms for games now because you don't get an installation disc and all that. I wish all of that would coalesce into one system.
Here's what I wish. If we're gonna go down this road, and it seems inevitable as I am not in any position to influence these decisions, why not turn this into online music streaming? One subscription to Nintendo games. Yeah. One subscription to Sony games.
Well, that's probably where they're going.
Since you don't own it anyway, give me the whole library for a monthly cost.
Yep.
And then let me choose what I want to play.
So Microsoft does that.
Really?
Yeah, Microsoft has a tiered layer of Game Pass. It's called Game Pass. Okay. And you've got gold and you've got different passes, and with that comes, now you have very little choice, but we can get on there, and we did a Google search for Xbox game plays like Zelda.
Okay.
And out popped up Phoenix Rising, which is, you're thinking of Phoenix Rising from the ashes, but it's spelled FENYX or something dumb. It's looks like Phoenix.
White trashy girl name.
Right. Well,
I named her Phoenix so she could get her own screen name.
Right. And it's a cute little story about kind of a retelling of like Greek mythology, and it kind of walks you through this. And anyway, it's a neat kind of go around and arrows, shoot the things, harvest some stuff. It was but it was free, completely free. It was on Game Pass. So it was probably a 6-year-old game, sure, but came out in 2020 and it was probably $40, $50. We got it for free and then Minecraft and all the
that stuff the kids want to go to on a regular basis. Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically paying for those games monthly, I guess, but
you're paying for the right to connect to their servers now. This is something that's changed in gaming.
That's the one thing too that Microsoft, they're either really clever or really greedy, or both. In order to play online with other people, you have to have the Game Pass. So it was kind of a no-brainer.
Didn't used to be that way.
No.
Even as far back as PlayStation 3, I think PlayStation 4 was the first console to start charging for that Game Pass. Sony experimented with it on PlayStation 3, if memory serves me. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think they had an online Game Pass where you could get premium access to certain features.
Yeah. Okay.
But everybody could play, and then if you pay the premium, then you got like prioritized position on the server. I forget how it all went.
We're talking about games here, obviously, but I think the same thing kind of transfers to music and movies and TV. Yeah. Now, music, you've made the really good point that no matter who you subscribe to, you basically, with some exceptions, you basically get the entire library, right?
Yeah, and we've talked about this too. There have been certain artists who have tried to make a political stand and say, I don't want my music on that platform because they support Joe Rogan.
Right.
Who was that?
Wasn't it drawing a blank. But
The name Eric was thinking of was Neil Young.
yeah, but yeah, you've made a really good point that the music industry,
They did it fairly well.
they did it very well.
Acceptably well. Not exceptionally well, but acceptably well.
And I remember Tool was very late to the streaming, to like Spotify and stuff like that. Like you had to own it, and that gets kind of my point. Like, how do you 8 years ago or whenever it was, how do you listen to a Tool song if it's not on any of the streamers?
You got to have that physical media.
You do it, or you have to have a Plex server.
Well, you still have the physical media, but now you're ripping it, making it digital yourself.
Right, and then streaming it back through your own server. But yeah, most people.
And then you need a special video capture card. You got to hook it up to your laptop.
Yeah. So, all right, bounce over to movies and TV. I know that like Apple has their own,
Everybody
studio,
got greedy.
right?
Oh, everybody got greedy.
Yeah, and
because
now,
it started out with Netflix, and it was Netflix and Redbox.
Yeah.
Did you want to get? Well,
Yeah.
Netflix was DVDs. You remember?
Yeah,
Back in
Blockbuster too.
The dark ages.
Yeah. No.
You could get a Netflix queue. They'd send you DVDs to your house, and then you get the little sleeve, and you'd mail it back to them. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think there was a time when we sat on a movie or TV show for a month or something. We're like, man, we just paid
$25 for one episode.
I think it was like $9.99 back then.
Oh yeah,
maybe cheaper.
But now they load all that stuff into servers, and then they send these local servers to various regional offices, so you're not streaming it.
Oh, right. Okay,
distance.
so they're like mirror servers all set up. Okay.
Yeah, which is wild that it's still kind of analog in a sense.
Yeah. Huh. So I wish there was a service for games and for TVs and movies where you basically just pay a monthly fee and you just get access to, like now.
Oh, you remember Sega Channel?
I don't.
Oh, this is a throwback.
Is it a cartoon?
No.
Oh.
Sega Channel was way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Because from emulation that 16-bit video games aren't large file sizes.
Yeah.
You can measure them in kilobytes sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Less than 2 megabytes usually.
Yeah.
And Sega figured out that they could transmit this even over dial-up. Mm-hmm. So if you subscribed to the monthly fee for Sega Channel, which all the rich kids did back in the day, and then you had this particular hardware adapter that had like its own modem, then you could dial into Sega Channel. And I remember being at a friend's house, and he had Sega Channel, and we were playing Earthworm Jim streamed over the internet.
Yeah.
Back in 1990 something.
Yeah. Blew your mind. Now, we've talked about it before a little bit, but growing up in Wisconsin, we had a dial-up modem, and we could dial into Bob Mahoney's bulletin board server.
You've brought
system.
this up before. Is Bob Mahoney local?
No. Well, he was in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee was a local phone call for us. So everyone around the world was paying long distance fees just to log into this. I mean, it was. I kind of
a message board.
Yeah, message board, but a repository for downloading things like clip art and all kind and their games.
Because you were the clip art hustler.
Yeah.
Your folder full of Bob Mahoney's work.
Right, and Sean's probably gonna bust me on. I'm probably mixing. PC Sig was some kind of a service too, an online service where I think we had a book. You could go through the book and say, "Oh, there's this game you can download, or this," and you would download these games.
Leisure Suit Larry, don't tell anybody.
Yeah. I think mostly text-based stuff back then.
But
yeah. Anyway, point being, I love the convenience of the digital. I mean, I have my entire music library on this phone because as long as I have internet, Wi-Fi, or whatever, I can stream it. And it's interesting too. It must be the way Apple and Amazon work. I've got Orange Whip music on here too.
Oh yeah.
Right. So they have uploaded my.
I bought their CD one time at a Goodwill.
See. That is hilarious.
Again, we need context.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, one of Eric's many bands was this funk band Orange Whip.
Yep.
And before I knew Eric super well, I knew that he was in this band, and I saw the CD at a Goodwill, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta buy this thing."
And I want to know who my friends, because it's one of my friends, sold that thing at Goodwill.
Well, they just donated it. They probably got rid of their physical collection after they ripped it all.
Yeah, that's probably true. Now, okay, there's a question. Do you have all your CDs?
I do.
Yeah. Where do you have them?
Totes.
Totes. In a closet?
my basement.
Yeah. I've found that top part of the shelf of a closet that you can't really get to easily. I got a box, put it up there. My brother had most CDs that we listened to, so my CD collection was really just a fork after Sean left for Florida. Well, after we moved out of the house, I guess. So my music collection is just the stuff I got probably from 7 on to, when did I stop buying CDs?
The moment Napster came out.
Don't say that. So it's kind of true.
Here's an angle to give a counterpoint to my stance of being pro-physical media. Do you know the approximate life before it starts to degrade of physical media on optical?
Like a burnt CD or an actual pressed one?
Let's go with both. Let's go with a range for both.
Yeah, I would think a burnt CD. Like how many burnt CDs do you have that are 20 years old that you can still access? I haven't even tried.
Yeah, 10 years is the low end.
Yeah,
and that would be for like physical media you've created, up to about 50 years for some of the media that has been professionally produced. Now they do make archival grade discs. This is something I used to deal with when I was giving people wedding footage.
Okay.
I got the type of burner that would let me do archival discs that were supposed to last over 100 years.
I wonder if nobody's tested that. Is that? Do you think it's just
BS?
I
bought it. I sold it.
I mean, do you buy the? Come on, be honest. Do you buy the gold tipped RCA cables?
I do not, because I saw plenty of tests that said, can you detect a difference in the frequency? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it within the human's ability to perceive? No.
Yeah.
And I worked at Best Buy, and they were having us sell the gold cables and
Monster
all the upsell monster cables. And I'm sorry, monster cables, not only do they not give the audiophile the better advantage. If you're an audiophile, please correct me in the comment section here, for real. Here's my perspective, though. Not only did it not improve the quality, but those cables were so thick and unwieldy that it made cable management more difficult.
I will have to go to bat for Monster in the music world, because for many years I would buy the cheap Radio Shack cables, guitar cable, plug in, and they would crap out undoubtedly at some point. And if you're playing live, that's a bad thing to have happen. So I learned pretty early on, spend the money on the Monster cable. Plus, if it stops working, you can swap it out.
Here's a crazy one, though.
Yeah.
If your cheaper cable stops working, you can buy another one, and you still spent less than the first Monster cable.
Yeah.
So if you're on the road, if you're giving a performance, if reliability absolutely matters, if you're the musician, probably the thicker gauge, better soldered Monster cable is the investment.
Well, no, and without a doubt, too, they didn't go bad. You just destroyed them. Like if you broke it or did some damage to it. So it's not like it's going bad. Like the other cable's just going to go bad, and you're not going to know about it. Until you are trying to figure out why.
I think if you're if you're in front of an audience, go ahead and spend the extra $50. If you're just a plebeian like me, listening to music, and you can make an extra trip out to Walmart to get your cheap Chinese-made cables, then don't.
Absolutely,
Context
no
matters
doubt.
there.
Yeah.
Let me throw a curveball your way here. This is something I often see online, and I don't fully disagree. And it's kind of a spicy take here.
All right.
I have seen it said that if purchasing something doesn't mean you own it, then pirating doesn't mean you stole it.
Wow. I kind of like that. Just to maybe even put another frame on it, if you could walk up to a car and make a copy of it.
Yeah, you'd never download a car. Like, I would. If I'm paying for the internet.
Right.
That's my bandwidth right there.
Yeah.
And it happens to be a Maserati now.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. Yeah. So you're paying money for...
you're paying money for service. Or access to a service.
Yeah. And
so if you pirate that thing, and maybe let's take it a step further, right? You're not using their servers. We're not using their bandwidth.
Right.
I've spun up my own Minecraft server. I'm running it locally on my own hardware. Since I can't own it anyway, I went ahead and downloaded their code, which I'm executing on my machine, and it's taking up my bandwidth, and it's using my power. No cost to them. I was never going to purchase it.
Yeah.
where's the downside for them?
I mean, you weren't going to purchase it otherwise,
right? I don't believe in supporting this capitalist nonsense,
right? Because I don't get to own it anyway.
Rage against the machine,
right? I've often said with streaming, certainly with streaming movies early on, when it was like, you could watch this movie for $19.
Oh yeah,
48 hours.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna pay $19. To watch it in my own home.
I said, and of course we've talked about Napster before, and I drew a line in the sand at some point and said, I'm not going to steal music. If I like a band,
you're going to support
I will.
band.
And I for many years I would go to Amazon because I liked how you could download the MP3s, which I owned,
yes.
right?
Oh, at least it was like you could consume it offline, make copies.
Yep.
There was no DRM attached.
Right. No, I never, and I think you even paid extra for the non-DRM, which is weird. But yeah, I would but now I don't really feel the need to buy the music, because now you're paying for the streaming service. I'm gonna stream through Apple probably for the rest of my life, and it's just price of doing business. So I went through a similar arc with movies and TV, where I started to feel really icky about downloading movies and TV, and I would say, like, if someone would just make this available for a reasonable price, I'd be all over it. I'm willing to 5, 10, but they
just
priced
don't go
it
crazy with it.
They priced it so high, it was really hard. But again, I learn, I improve myself, and yeah, now it's like if I want to watch a movie, I'll pay to rent it or whatever. Now, that said, sharing accounts between friends and family, that's a gray area.
It gets a little stickier, but if you had that physical copy, you could hand
loan
it to somebody. You'd loan them the VHS tape back in the day. So I don't think that we're seeing a huge drop-off in terms of what their potential profits were from the old system to the new system if they're treating it fairly.
Yeah.
Here's a question that you brought up for me, though, and inadvertently. Why are we paying the exact same price for the digital version as we are for the physical version when they don't have to make a physical copy, package it, distribute it?
They got
hold it on a
servers
shelf?
now.
Well, they do, but if my copy of Outlaws is just a digital key, my digital copy is actually more expensive than my physical copy at times, because that never goes on sale, but the physical copy will go on sale, or I can buy it used.
Right.
That math ain't mathing for me.
Well, I mean, I think I think it's all about economics. It's what the market will bear, right? So if someone's willing to spend $20 on a physical copy, they already know they're willing to spend $20 to get this. Why lower the price?
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Capitalism.
Hey.
When did I become the dang socialist on this show? I'm usually the free market capitalist here.
Right. Yeah, okay, so here's one of my biggest gripes with piracy. You think about Napster, it was so easy, right? Yeah. And man, kudos to the. Do we know who developed it? Wasn't he?
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
I heard the guy's name forever ago. I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it sounds like Napster. Anyway,
I'll Google it for you while you're talking.
Brilliant. I mean, basically built a system that made it so easy. Mostly it was, computer nerds were using it, but it got to the point. Sean Parker. Okay. Was he tied to Zuckerberg at all? Wasn't there like a? Wasn't he in The Social Network?
I haven't seen The Social Network. I don't know. That's one I should see.
Yeah. I got a soapbox about that one too. I think we've talked about it already. Though. Anyway, when it made it so easy, and again, I was the guy that was wanting to make a cover of Master of Puppets called Napster that I thought we could have had I would have had my first viral MP3 if I'd have just made that and threw it out to the world. I think that the way that system worked, peers and seeding and all that stuff, you would have. Anyway, so Napster was one thing, but it really was kind of devoted to people with PCs and good internet and knew a little bit about file management and had big storage, right?
So and you weren't afraid of like partial files.
Yeah.
You had the savvy to know that if it was, .mp3.exe, you didn't
Right.
click on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and here's kind of where I'll put the marker. My mom wasn't on Napster, so she wasn't stealing music, right? And I
She
say
had to do it at Walmart the old-fashioned way in her purse.
Now, and I'm not picking on my mom here, but a lot of folks that aren't super computer savvy have those little sticks, those hacked Fire Sticks on the back of their computer.
yeah.
What are those called? Do you remember? I don't remember the name.
Well, I think they're just hacked Fire Sticks. Really.
They're hacked Fire Sticks.
You can buy them on Amazon, ironically.
So this is what grinds my gears. When you take a level of piracy that's really devoted to the people that are willing to kind of put in the effort and do all the nerdy stuff,
break the rules,
break
and they
the
know
rules,
what they're doing,
they know what
and
they're
they
doing.
understand the risk. Yeah.
That's a subset of the population that I would think the you're not enabling everyone in the world to pirate music.
But the moment you put that thing on Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah. Now you build this stick, and my understanding that you got a stick that you plug in HDMI,
and somebody's jailbroken it.
and someone's jailbroken. You got a remote with it, and they've baked in URLs to all these. I don't even know if they're on the dark web, but they're servers that have movies and TV.
Other people's credentials.
Was it even that? I think it's like you're just streaming content.
Okay.
And again, if you're a nerd in your basement and you've got a bunch of monitors and NIC cards.
What are you saying about people with lots of monitors, Eric?
Maybe help me kind of articulate this. I'm saying, yes, you're doing bad. Don't do that. That's bad. But if you make a device that my mom can use, and I don't even think my mom knows she's
That
stealing
piracy.
movies and TV, but it's like they'll pop the thing in, and it's like every Apple show out there today. Now, granted, this has been some years. They may have clamped down on it a little more, or maybe it's gotten even bigger. I don't know, but don't make something like that and put it out in the world. You're just, I don't know. React to that if you want.
I think the same people that are making that are the folks that were selling bootleg DVDs on the streets in the 90s.
Or clip art.
Or clip
in
art.
middle school.
Yeah. You're always, if there's a technological way to make this easy and portable, then somebody's going to try to make it profitable.
Yeah.
So if you want to see folks clamp down on this, it's really got to be at the source, right? You've got to find the marketplaces where they're on sale. Amazon's got to do a much better job of finding dubious listings and removing them in a timely fashion.
Sure.
And they probably need to partner up with Facebook Marketplace and some of these distribution channels to say, look, if somebody sells Fire Stick TV and it says free Disney Channel or free ESPN or whatever, you need to delist them. There needs to be like a blacklist, and then we need to monitor when code words for these things surface.
Yeah. And I think a bigger way these things are probably done is it's someone buys a Fire Stick, and then you get a computer savvy person to run some hacks on it, and then you give it to grandma or whatever. I mean, this is a perfect thing. Perfect thing for Airbnbs, right?
See, now it's like a business fraud, right? Now you've elevated it to a federal crime.
Because one of the things I really find disturbing at Airbnbs is they'll have their remote on the table and be like,
their Roku, put your credentials in.
Just put your credentials in.
It's fine. Yeah.
You won't forget to log out.
I did that. When did I do that most recently? Oh, I was at a hotel down in Nashville because Emma was competing. My daughter Emma was competing in National American Miss. And she's like, oh, the TV has Netflix, but you have to log in.
Yeah.
So now I guess Hilton has my Netflix password, so they better not mess up my algorithm.
Did you log out before you left?
I did.
Yeah.
It still feels weird.
I don't like that, but I think it's hilarious when you go into Airbnb and someone's stayed logged in and it's like, ooh, I don't have Peacock. Let's
see what's going on.
What's going on. But anyway, so
well, I have one more point here, and then I'll quit beating the dead horse here.
Okay.
And this is, and I think we may have touched on this in the past as well, so we don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but archives. This is the one kind of gray area on both ends of the spectrum, because if you've got the Nintendo emulator, you've got the entire catalog, that's great.
Yeah.
When you can't get that in a modern format that is playable.
Right.
perhaps you could find a yard sale and you get lucky and you get that, that one game from your childhood that you remember that's difficult to find. Unlikely, because collectors are eating that market up. And if Nintendo of America doesn't make it available as the digital download on the new, Wii emulator for Nintendo Switch or Super Nintendo emulator for Nintendo Switch, then it's just lost.
Yeah.
Particularly if there's like weird licensing, because some of these companies get bought by other companies. Yeah. Maybe there's fragmentation and now it's unclear who owns the rights to a particular IP. So having the ability to access historic titles that aren't readily accessible, maybe can't be monetized because of the nature of how these companies have moved. I think there's something to be said for having that as an option.
There's another piece to that I think's a little fringe, but a lot of these ROMs, they're called ROMs, they're basically copies of the source code of the game. And some of these ROMs have been hacked to change it up, so you can play Mario with Zelda characters as the enemies.
This is like the oldest school version of playing a modded game, right?
Yeah, right. And I find it fascinating. I'd love to actually talk to someone who's actually done some of the modding, because I feel like you're just going to be staring into the Matrix, because if you don't know the person that coded it. But people have found ways to. There's a really fantastic 2016 mod of Super Mario Brothers. So Super Mario Brothers, the first one, Nintendo NES, was I think a couple things that really stood out to me. You couldn't go back left.
Yes.
Right. Once you scrolled forward, it wasn't moving always, but once you scrolled forward, you couldn't go back. And how many mushrooms have sailed off the screen that you wept for? The other thing is the mushrooms, I think, always moved forward. Whereas in the newer games, if you hit the block on a certain side, it would go a certain direction. And little things like that. And then the biggest one is there was no map. There was no world map. So you couldn't go back and replay levels. Someone made a 2016 mod of Super Mario where it had a world map. You could go back on the screen. They updated the graphics and the sprites. And it's
so it was like a quality of life enhancement.
I mean, to me, I think they had power-ups. They added things that I loved from the newer games, but they brought it back to the original. Just a lot of fun. Nerd.
I touched on mods just a little bit. The first time I ever did was the TI-83 Plus graphics calculator that had some text-based games.
Yep.
And
I had the TI-85.
Well, it was you were in engineering, right?
Well, it was a senior in high school at Dunbar.
At Dunbar, yeah.
I was the only one I knew that had the 85. It was like $50 more, but my dad and I split it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you could get a little dongle attachment.
It's like a headphone jack, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then connect it to the internet and download games and files and things. And somebody did that.
Yeah.
And then we would trade them because you could connect one calculator to another, but then you could get in and modify the text. And so we'd take drug wars, and we would modify all the drug dealers' names to be teachers at our school. So it's like, Mr. Harden sold you cocaine.
Right.
And so that made me think, wow, what else can you do, right? And then I also found out that certain ROMs, when you get the ROMs, you could open the ROM file and you could access the sprite folders, and then you could edit the individual sprites.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so that's what I think probably some of these mods are, is just edited sprites.
Yeah.
Same game mechanics. You don't need to know the source code.
Yep.
The source code is invoking these images.
Okay.
And if you've got the sprite map, then you can edit pixel by pixel, just like old Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
And you can produce something new. And I touched on that for just a minute, but it was so laborious, and I was not very artistic, so I opted out.
Yeah.
But I guess the moral of the story, we probably need both, right? If we're going to moralize here for a moment. I think there's a function for the concept of ownership. Certainly, if you want to archive, if you want to retain value, and if you want to retain some sense of knowing it or owning it. But then also there is a convenience factor.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, the more and more things are online and connected in that way, there's just no way around. I mean, you could archive a game, but I mean, it's going to get updated tomorrow, patched, add new features. So
but if we could get some consolation, if a company decides
consolation.
That is two. If a company decides they're gonna stop supporting a game, I think they owe it to the fans to make that open source and allow them to host their own servers, continue playing.
And I know several outfits have done that. I remember we talked about the IO Bridge was a internet service system we used to build the garage door opener thing. They decided to pull the plug on it, and they just said, hey, here's the source code, and you can kind of spin up your own.
Yeah, there was this software that was, for just a brief minute, it was pretty popular. And then the programmer decided that they didn't want to support it anymore, so they just made it like free to everybody. It was called SignProx.
SignProx, that's right.
So yeah.
I still can't even like make edits to it. I don't have an IDE to pull it into right now. But
well, there you go.
Yeah.
So if you want something free that used to cost money,
just wait for them to go to business.
Good guy Eric here. All
right. I can tell just in your face when you're setting up a fun. I can just
We've got a brand new website. What is that site?
That is soapboxlex.com.
So you can check us out on the web. You can also check us out on your favorite streaming platforms, including...
we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on Amazon. And of course,
if you want to check us out and actually see what you're listening to, we do have video as well on YouTube. And I don't know if you knew this, but Spotify does video too.